Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's session. I'm excited to have you here. Today, we will be discussing the general reorientation of company rules and Regulations. This presentation is brought to you by NVE Solution Manpower Services. We'll go over important policies and guidelines to ensure everyone is on the same page. So, let's get started and make this a productive and informative session. Today, I want to introduce you to NVE Solution Manpower Services, or NVE SMS for short. We are a dedicated manpower provider committed to delivering excellent service to our clients. Our focus is on providing skilled and professional personnel who can truly add value to your operations. At the core of our approach is the idea of a trilateral win-win solution. This means we aim to create benefits not just for our clients, but also for the manpower we provide and for our company as well. It's about fostering a mutually beneficial relationship that ensures success across all parties involved. Throughout this presentation, you'll see how this philosophy guides everything we do, helping us build strong, reliable partnerships while maintaining high standards of service. So, when you think of NVE SMS, think of a partner dedicated to excellence and shared success. When you start your employment, it's important to understand who you will be reporting to. You will need to report to NVE SMS regarding any officer assigned by the company who will oversee your work and conduct. This person is essentially your supervisor during your entire period of employment. It's also crucial to remember that, as an agency employee, you are not authorized to directly complain to the client about personal issues. Doing so could lead to disciplinary actions, so always go through the proper channels. This setup ensures clear lines of communication and helps maintain professionalism in your work environment. It ties into the overall theme of establishing proper procedures and respecting the organizational structure for a smooth working relationship. Now, let's talk about the termination of employment. One key reason for this is the expiration of your service contract with the client. If your contract simply comes to an end and you're not interested in being reassigned to another project, that can lead to termination. Another important point is if there's a violation of company policies or the client's rules and regulations. That's a serious matter that can justify ending employment. Pre-termination can also occur when the service contract between the company and the client is coming to an end, especially if there's no renewal or extension. Additionally, the Labor Code provides for just and valid causes for termination, which includes specific legal grounds. Lastly, if you're absent from work for 3 consecutive days without a reasonable explanation, this may be considered as voluntarily abandoning your job. It's crucial to understand these points because they connect to the overall theme of employment stability and the importance of adhering to company and client policies. On this slide, we're focusing on duties and responsibilities. It's important to remember that all employees are expected to perform their assigned work with diligence and to the best of their ability. This means putting in genuine effort and taking responsibility for your tasks. Your employer has the right to assign you to different sites or projects as needed. Flexibility is key here, so being adaptable to these changes is part of your duties. Now, it's crucial to understand that you're legally liable for any losses or damages that might occur due to negligence, dishonesty, or any actions that could harm the interests of our client. If such issues happen, any financial impact, like damages, can be deducted from your wages. This all ties into the broader theme of accountability and professionalism, which are essential for maintaining trust and integrity in our work. So, always perform your duties responsibly, stay adaptable, and be aware of your legal responsibilities. Let's talk about attendance and punctuality, which are really fundamental to our success. Being present consistently shows your commitment and reliability, both of which are highly valued in any professional setting. When you're punctual, it demonstrates respect for others' time and helps things run smoothly. Missing or arriving late can disrupt the flow of work and impact team performance. It's important to understand that attendance and punctuality are not just about showing up. They reflect your professionalism and dedication. In the context of this presentation, they're key elements that support our overall goals of efficiency, collaboration, and maintaining a positive work environment. So, making a habit of being on time and present isn't just about rules. It's about building trust and demonstrating your commitment to the team's success. Let's talk about tardiness. Tardiness happens when employees arrive later than the scheduled reporting time. Now, to be fair, there's a grace period of 5 minutes each day, so arriving within that window is generally acceptable. However, beyond that, it becomes a concern. There are different ways tardiness can be classified. First, we have habitual tardiness, which means an employee has been late 4 times in a month beyond that 5-minute grace period. This indicates a pattern that might need addressing. Next, there's excessive tardiness, which is 5 or more instances of being late beyond the grace period in a month. This shows a more frequent issue that could impact team productivity and workflow. Lastly, we have accumulated tardiness. This isn't about how often someone is late, but rather if the total minutes late add up to more than 60 minutes in a month, regardless of how many times that occurs. Understanding these distinctions helps us see how punctuality affects overall performance and discipline. Recognizing these patterns allows us to address tardiness more effectively, keeping our team on track and aligned with our organizational standards. Let's take a closer look at the tardiness infraction table. Here, we categorize tardiness into 2 main types: habitual tardiness, labeled as H, and excessive tardiness, labeled as E. For habitual tardiness, occurring 4 times, the disciplinary actions start with a verbal warning, then escalate to a written warning. If the behavior persists, the next steps involve 3 days suspension, 5 days suspension, 15 days suspension, and ultimately dismissal. Similarly, for excessive tardiness, the first threshold is 5 times, which also begins with a written warning, followed by escalating suspensions. As the number of tardies increases, say 6 or 7 times, the disciplinary actions become more severe, ranging from suspensions to dismissal. There's also a category for accumulated tardiness, defined as 60 or more instances. In this case, the first response is a written warning, followed by suspensions, and if the behavior continues, dismissal is the final step. The key takeaway here is that the more persistent the tardiness, the more serious the consequences become. Our goal is to encourage punctuality and accountability, and this table helps outline a clear progression of disciplinary actions. It's important to understand that these steps are designed to promote consistent attendance and to address issues early before they become chronic. When employees need to leave the office for personal reasons and can't complete their entire work shift, they have the option to file for an undertime. Now, it's important to understand the specific conditions that must be met for this to be approved. First, the minimum amount of time that can be undertime is 1 hour. So, if you're leaving for less than an hour, it wouldn't qualify. On the other hand, the maximum allowable undertime is 3 hours. This means you can't request to leave for more than 3 hours at a time. Another key point is that the undertime must be filed and approved at least 1 day before the scheduled leave. This advance notice helps us plan better and ensures smooth operations. Remember, these conditions are in place to keep everything transparent and organized, aligning with our overall goal of maintaining efficiency while accommodating personal needs. Now, let's talk about a specific situation related to leave of absence. Sometimes, an employee might not yet be entitled to official leave, but finds themselves unable to report for work due to unforeseen circumstances like illness, an emergency, or even a planned vacation. In these cases, it's important to know that you can still file for a leave without pay. Of course, this is subject to management's approval. This provision provides some flexibility, especially when urgent matters arise that prevent you from fulfilling your duties, even if you haven't officially earned leave yet. It's a way to ensure that employees can handle emergencies without facing penalties, while still maintaining proper oversight through management approval. This aligns with our overall goal of supporting employees during unforeseen events while keeping the process fair and organized. As a general rule, employees are expected to call their immediate superior within the first 2 working hours of their shift to inform them of their absence. This immediate communication is crucial because it helps the supervisor plan ahead and reassign any pending tasks to other available staff members. When it comes to sick leave, this rule still applies. Employees should notify their immediate superior within those first 2 hours of starting their workday. It's important to note that if the leave extends beyond 2 days, a medical certificate signed by a licensed medical practitioner will be required to approve the continued absence. This ensures that all absences are properly documented and justified. This notification period is a key part of our overall attendance policy, as it helps maintain smooth operations and ensures that everyone is aware of staffing needs. Timely communication really supports our team's efficiency and helps us manage workloads effectively. Now, let's talk about the different types of leave available to employees. First, we have vacation leave, or VL. This type of leave needs to be scheduled and approved by your immediate superior at least 3 days before your planned vacation. It's important to plan ahead so your supervisor can accommodate your time off smoothly. Next is emergency leave, or EL. This leave is intended for urgent situations, such as accidents, sickness, or the death of immediate family members like your spouse, children, parents, or siblings. It also covers situations where you need to appear in judicial, quasi-judicial, or administrative tribunals. Additionally, if you need to attend the burial of first-degree relatives or face unforeseen emergencies like floods, thefts, fires, or vehicular accidents, emergency leave is the appropriate option. Finally, we have paternity leave, or PL. This leave is specifically for employees who are legally married and whose spouse has recently given birth. The leave begins on the day the child is born. If, however, the delivery occurs on a Sunday or a holiday, the leave can start the next day. Remember, only employees who are legally married at the time of the child's birth are eligible for this leave. Understanding these leave types helps us manage our time off properly and ensures we meet the company's policies while attending to our personal needs. When an employee is on leave of absence without prior approval, it's essential to understand that returning to work requires a specific process. Before coming back, you must secure a return-to-work notice, or RTWN, from the agency. This notice is a crucial document that confirms you are fit to resume your duties and clears you to re-enter the company premises. If you try to return without this RTWN, you will not be allowed to enter the workplace. This policy helps us ensure everyone's safety and proper management of leave and return procedures. Once you have the RTWN, it's important to forward a copy to your immediate superior. This way, your supervisor is informed and can facilitate your smooth transition back into your duties. This process underscores our overall theme of maintaining a safe, organized, and compliant workplace. The RTWN acts as a formal communication tool that supports accountability and proper documentation. Remember, always secure your RTWN before returning to avoid any issues with entry or work continuation. Today, I want to explain the key points regarding absences without official leave, or AWOL. Essentially, if an employee does not report to work for 3 consecutive days, they will be considered AWOL. This means that their absence is unexcused and not officially authorized. Once this 3-day period has passed, a notice to return to work will be sent to the concerned employee. This notice serves as a formal reminder and an opportunity for the employee to clarify their situation or explain the absence. However, it's important to understand that failure to report back after receiving this notice will be regarded as an infraction. This can have serious implications, as it may lead to disciplinary action. Connecting this to our overall theme, it's crucial for both the company and employees to understand the importance of proper communication and adherence to policies regarding absences. Proper procedures help maintain a fair and efficient work environment for everyone. Today, I want to talk about a very important aspect of our workplace policies: abandonment to work. Essentially, This refers to situations where an employee fails to report to the office despite being given multiple notices. It's crucial to understand that if someone repeatedly ignores these notices and does not show up, it can be considered as abandoning their job. This isn't just a minor oversight. It can have serious consequences. Abandonment to work might be used as a ground for termination, meaning that the company could decide to end the employment because of this behavior. The key point here is communication. If you're unable to report for work, it's essential to inform your supervisor or HR as soon as possible. Failure to do so, especially after several notices, can be viewed as a deliberate abandonment, which we want to avoid. Overall, this policy underscores the importance of accountability and clear communication in maintaining a productive and respectful work environment. Let's take a moment to talk about general policies. These are the foundational principles that guide our actions and decisions across the organization. It's important to understand that these policies ensure consistency and fairness in how we operate. They also help us stay aligned with our overall mission and values. Key points include adherence to ethical standards, compliance with laws and regulations, and maintaining a safe and respectful work environment. These policies serve as a framework that supports our daily activities and long-term goals. By following these guidelines, we not only protect ourselves and our organization, but also foster a culture of trust and integrity. Remember, these policies are not just rules. They are the backbone of how we achieve our shared success. So, keeping these principles in mind helps us stay committed to excellence and accountability in everything we do. Let's talk about some important policies to maintain a professional work environment. First, bringing in food and drinks into the workplace is not allowed. This helps keep our work areas clean and free from distractions. Similarly, employees are prohibited from gallivanting around or smoking in the non-smoking areas. It's all about respecting shared spaces and ensuring a healthy environment for everyone. Next, personal appearance matters a lot. We all should be well-groomed and project a neat, professional image at all times. This reflects positively on us and the company. Also, I want to highlight that making personal calls to family or relatives during office hours is discouraged. Of course, if you need to make a personal call, please do so only during breaks. This helps us stay focused and productive throughout the day. So, to sum up, these guidelines are designed to support a respectful, professional, and efficient work environment for all of us. Now, let's talk about the issuance of the NTE, or Notice to Explain. This step is really important because it gives the employee a chance to present their side of the story before any disciplinary action is taken. It's an opportunity to clarify or provide context, ensuring the process is fair and transparent. Moving on, the written explanation is a key part of this step. The employee is encouraged to submit a detailed statement explaining their situation or reasons for their actions. This helps both sides understand the full picture before moving forward. The notice of decision then follows, which communicates the outcome after considering the explanation. It's a formal way to inform the employee of the next steps or any disciplinary measures, if necessary. Now, regarding the disciplinary process as a whole, supporting documents play a crucial role. For example, if an employee is absent for 3 or more consecutive days, the company may ask for supporting documents, like a medical certificate or a death certificate, to justify the absence. This helps ensure that the process is based on verified information and maintains fairness. Overall, these steps, issuance of the NTE, the written explanation, and the supporting documents, are designed to uphold transparency and fairness in our disciplinary procedures. They allow employees to be heard and ensure that decisions are well-informed and justified. Maternity benefit is granted to all female employees who are entitled to the Social Security System, or SSS, maternity benefit. This means that if you're a female employee and you qualify for SSS, you automatically become eligible for this benefit. It's an important part of our employee benefits and privileges because it provides financial support during a very special time, when you're welcoming a new life into your family. This benefit helps ensure that you can focus on your health and your new baby without worrying about financial constraints. Overall, this highlights our commitment to supporting employees not just professionally, but also in their personal lives, especially during significant moments like maternity. Now, let's look at some key Social Security benefits available to workers. First, there's the subsidized portion of hospitalization, which means that a significant part of hospital costs is covered. This includes access to a comprehensive package of services such as inpatient care, which is staying in the hospital, catastrophic coverage for major medical expenses, ambulatory surgeries, which are outpatient procedures, deliveries for childbirth, and some outpatient treatments. These benefits are designed to ease the financial burden during times of illness or medical need. Next, I want to highlight PhilHealth. PhilHealth's main role is to implement Social Security protection for workers in the private sector. It aims to provide income replacement during times of sickness, disability, maternity, old age, or even in cases of death. So, it's about ensuring that workers and their families are supported when they face health challenges or life events. Moving on, we have the Social Security System, or SSS. The SSS covers all probationary and regular employees. For those with less than 1 year of service, the benefits are prorated, meaning they'll receive a proportionate amount based on their period of employment. This system is essential in providing financial security through contributions and benefits for workers throughout their careers. Finally, let's touch on the 13th month pay. This is a mandatory benefit, required by law, and it's essentially a form of additional income that employees are entitled to receive. It's a great way to boost workers' earnings, especially during the holiday season, and it reflects the government's commitment to providing fair labor benefits. All of these benefits, hospitalization support, PhilHealth coverage, SSS protection, and the 13th month pay, are part of the broader framework to safeguard workers' welfare and promote Social Security. They're all interconnected, ensuring that workers have support not just in health, but also in their financial stability throughout their working lives. Let's talk about disciplinary action. When an employee doesn't follow company policies, there are consequences. These consequences are designed to be fair and to encourage compliance. Importantly, the disciplinary actions increase in severity if the behavior continues or if the violation is serious. So the first step might be a warning, but if the behavior persists, it could lead to more serious measures like suspension or even termination. The key point here is that the process is progressive, meaning it escalates in response to repeated or serious violations. This approach helps ensure everyone understands the importance of policies and that consistent consequences are applied. It also ties back to our overall goal of maintaining a respectful and productive workplace. When it comes to disciplinary actions, there are several options depending on how serious the infraction is and whether it's a recurring issue. First, we have the verbal reprimand, which is a straightforward way to address minor concerns and correct behavior early on. Next is the written reprimand, which is more formal and documented, serving as an official notice that the behavior needs improvement. If the situation is more severe, the next step could be suspension without pay, giving the employee time to reflect on their actions while also emphasizing the seriousness of the matter. In cases of serious or repeated violations, dismissal might be necessary, meaning the employee is no longer part of the organization. There are also other types of disciplinary actions, such as requiring the employee to make restitution for losses caused by their actions. It's important to understand that these disciplinary measures are applied based on the gravity and recurrence of the infraction. The goal is always to correct behavior and maintain a positive, productive work environment. On this slide, we're looking at some of the key behaviors that can be considered misconduct in the workplace. First, there's discourtesy or rudeness to officers or clients, which can really damage relationships and the company's reputation. It's important to always maintain professionalism and respect in all interactions. Next, AWOL, or being absent without official leave, is a serious concern because it disrupts operations and shows a lack of accountability. Excessive use of NVE SMS or the client's property is another issue. It's crucial to use resources responsibly and only for work-related purposes. We also have analogous acts, which are behaviors similar to those listed, but might not be explicitly spelled out in policies. These are still taken seriously because they undermine workplace discipline. Now, moving on to serious offenses, these include abusing mobile phones for personal use during work hours, which can distract us and reduce productivity. Gallivanting or loitering during office hours is another serious concern because it indicates a lack of focus and commitment. Failing to keep and maintain cleanliness and sanitation can affect not only the work environment, but also safety standards. Being absent without official leave, again, is a major issue, and habitual tardiness disrupts operations and affects team morale. Remember, these serious offenses compromise our professionalism and operational efficiency. Finally, we have analogous acts under this category as well. They are behaviors that, while not explicitly listed, are similar in nature and can also have serious repercussions if not addressed. Understanding and addressing these behaviors helps us uphold the standards and integrity of our organization. Let's talk about some of the grave offenses that are considered misconduct within our organization. First, discourtesy and rudeness towards company officers or clients are strictly unacceptable. Showing respect is fundamental to maintaining a professional environment and good relationships. Next, altering documents is a serious violation because it compromises integrity and trust. Accepting or demanding money or anything of value for work-related services is also prohibited, as it could lead to conflicts of interest or even legal issues. Engaging in fighting or encouraging a fight undermines safety and respect in the workplace. Intentional damage to NVE SMS or the company's property is another serious offense, reflecting poorly on our professionalism and respect for company resources. Additionally, a conviction of any crime involving moral turpitude is a clear breach of conduct, as it questions one's integrity. Finally, willful disobedience by employees demonstrates a lack of discipline and can disrupt operations. All these actions are considered misconduct and are taken very seriously because they threaten the integrity, safety, and reputation of our organization. Today, I want to talk about some of the key issues that can seriously impact workplace discipline and safety. One major concern is when employees refuse to perform work. This isn't just about inconvenience. It can disrupt operations and affect team morale. Another critical point is deliberately delaying the completion of work. When someone intentionally slows down their tasks, it can cause a ripple effect, delaying project timelines and increasing costs. Disregard for safety regulations is also a serious matter. Safety protocols are in place for a reason, to protect everyone. Ignoring these rules puts not only the individual at risk, but also colleagues around them. Then, there's the unjustified refusal to accept transfer assignments. Sometimes, employees resist changes or relocations without valid reasons, which can hinder organizational flexibility and growth. All of these behaviors fall under the broader issue of willful disobedience by employees. When such actions happen intentionally and repeatedly, they undermine the discipline and safety culture we're striving to build. It's crucial to recognize these issues early and address them appropriately to maintain a productive, safe, and respectful work environment. Let's take a closer look at some of the serious violations that can occur within a company. First, theft, which involves the unlawful taking of company assets or resources. Then there's malversation of funds, where someone misuses or embezzles money entrusted to them. Revealing company information is another critical issue, as it can compromise security and competitive advantage. Falsification and misrepresentation of facts on NVE SMS documents undermine the integrity of our operations and can lead to false reporting or misleading data. All of these actions fall under what we call fraud, or a willful breach of management's trust and confidence, which is a grave misconduct. Moving on, inefficiency or failure to perform work according to the standards set by the company can seriously impact our productivity. Failure to perform work due to negligence also falls into this category, as it shows a lack of care or responsibility. Unexplained loss or wasteful usage of company property points to poor resource management, which can be costly. Similarly, negligent or wasteful use of company property highlights a pattern of careless behavior that needs to be addressed. Lastly, gross and habitual neglect of duties refers to consistent failure to fulfill responsibilities, which can severely affect team performance and overall company success. These behaviors are not just individual lapses, they threaten the integrity and efficiency of our entire organization. It's crucial that we identify and address these issues promptly to maintain a trustworthy and effective workplace. Let's talk about separation. When we think about separation in this context, we're really focusing on the process of dividing or differentiating elements within a system or organization. It's a crucial concept because it helps us understand how to manage boundaries, responsibilities, and resources effectively. Separation can refer to physical separation, like dividing spaces, or it can be more abstract, like separating duties or functions to improve efficiency and security. One key point here is that proper separation helps reduce conflicts and overlaps, making operations smoother. It also enhances security, because when responsibilities are clearly separated, it's easier to identify and isolate issues or breaches. Another important aspect is understanding that separation isn't about creating silos, but rather about establishing clear boundaries while maintaining the overall cohesion of the system. This connects directly to our overall theme of building resilient and efficient structures, whether organizational or technical. In essence, effective separation allows us to streamline processes, protect valuable assets, and ensure clarity in roles. It's a fundamental principle that supports the integrity and functionality of the entire system. When an employee wishes to resign from their position, there are a few important steps to follow. First, they should send a written notice of resignation addressed directly to their immediate superior at the NVE. It's also necessary to furnish a copy of this notice to the same superior to ensure proper documentation. Now, this notice should be given at least 30 days in advance, which we refer to as the turnover period. This allows enough time for a smooth transition and proper handover of responsibilities. But it's crucial to remember that an employee is only considered officially resigned once they have been cleared of all accountabilities. This means settling any pending tasks, obligations, or liabilities before the resignation process is complete. Overall, this process ensures transparency and accountability, aligning with our goal to maintain professionalism and smooth operations even during transitions. The last pay will be released only once you are officially cleared. This means that you are considered free from any charges or obligations with the company. To achieve this, all issued company property must be surrendered. This includes items like locker keys, NVE SMS ID, HMO card, and any other company assets that may have been given to you during your employment. It's important to remember that all accountabilities with different departments must also be settled before you can be fully cleared. This process ensures a smooth transition and helps protect both you and the company. So the key takeaway here is that clearance is a comprehensive process, covering the return of company property and settling any outstanding matters. Once everything is in order, your final pay will be released. This step is essential to maintain professionalism and integrity as you move on to your next chapter. The last paycheck is essentially the final sum you receive, and it's calculated by taking all the receivables you're owed. That means everything you're entitled to collect. From that total, we subtract all unsettled accounts, that is, any outstanding bills or debts that haven't been paid yet. We also deduct defrayable benefits, which are the benefits that can be used to offset costs or expenses. This process ensures that the final paycheck accurately reflects what you truly deserve after accounting for any pending obligations. It's a crucial concept because it ties into the overall theme of financial clarity and transparency. Understanding how the last paycheck is calculated helps you see the full picture of your earnings and liabilities, ensuring there are no surprises at the end. Let's talk about termination. Termination is a critical aspect of any process or agreement because it marks the end of a relationship or contract. It's important to understand the key points involved, such as the reasons why termination might occur, whether it's due to breach, completion of objectives, or other reasons. We also need to consider the procedures that should be followed to ensure the termination is handled smoothly and fairly for all parties involved. Highlighting the most important concept here is that clear, well-defined termination clauses help prevent misunderstandings and legal issues down the line. This ties back to our overall theme of establishing solid, transparent frameworks in our processes. Proper termination procedures ensure that when a relationship ends, it does so professionally and with minimal disruption. Now, let's look at some of the just causes that can lead to employee termination. First, a grave offense or acts that are similar in nature. This includes serious misconduct that severely breaches workplace standards. Next, conduct that is unbecoming of an employee, or behavior that goes against common decency and morality. It's important to remember that professionalism isn't just about skills, but also about how we carry ourselves. Another key point is misrepresentation regarding qualifications. If an employee provides false information about their skills or background that significantly impacts their role or influences hearing decisions, that can be a valid reason for termination. Lastly, if an employee is suffering from a disease that could pose a risk to their own health or the health of their colleagues, and their continued employment could be prejudicial, this can also be grounds for termination. These points remind us that employment is a relationship built on trust, professionalism, and safety. When these are compromised, the company has valid reasons to take action. On the other hand, an employee has the right to put an end to the employee-employer relationship, but only for just causes. These just causes include serious insult by the employer or their representative, especially if it affects the dignity of the employee as a person. It's important to recognize that respect and humane treatment are fundamental. Another key point is inhumane and unbearable treatment. If the working conditions become intolerable or abusive, that can be a valid reason for termination. And finally, if the employer or their representative commits a crime or offense against the employee or even their immediate family members, that also justifies ending the employment relationship. These reasons are grounded in protecting the dignity, safety, and well-being of employees, aligning with the broader theme of fair and just employment practices. On this slide, we're focusing on how we handle grave offenses within our organization. These are serious infractions that could warrant severe actions such as termination, long-term suspension, restitution of losses, or even a complete overhaul or revision of our processes or procedures. When such offenses occur, the committee recommends specific sanctions, which then have to be approved by top management. In cases of grave offenses, an investigation committee is formed to thoroughly look into the matter. This ensures we have a fair and comprehensive review before any decisions are made. Once the initial findings are in, the department head issues a memo or counseling to address the situation. This is an important step in documenting the incident and communicating expectations moving forward. The Human Resources Division prepares a memo based on the investigation results, and the department head then recommends appropriate sanctions. These sanctions are coordinated with HR to ensure consistency and fairness across the organization. Additionally, the employee involved may be asked to provide a written explanation of their actions. This step allows the employee to share their perspective and helps inform the final decision. The department head reports their findings and recommendations, working closely with HR throughout the process. All these steps highlight our commitment to a fair, transparent, and structured approach in dealing with serious misconduct, reinforcing our overall theme of maintaining integrity and accountability in our organization. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. Reach out for any questions. I want to make sure everything is clear and that you feel confident moving forward. Don't hesitate to ask if something wasn't fully covered or if you need further clarification. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate your time and attention today. Your engagement is what makes these presentations meaningful. Remember, the key takeaways are all about applying what we discuss to achieve your goals. So please feel free to reach out anytime. Thanks again, and I hope you have a great day.